Hello captains, my name is Cash the Stampede, welcome to the channel, and today I woke up this morning with plans on going to work like I do every day. I had an in-office day I had to deal with and learned some absolutely outstanding news. Captains, I will be reading to you the latest DevBlog about the Frigate, our large ship. Now, I have to give a complete just round of applause to the developers. I don't know how many of you were here as we transition from year one to year two, but the wait that we had to be, put through in order to get information about what was coming was pretty terrible. It was the 11th hour, legitimately the day before the update came out, before is when we started to get information about what was to come. So yeah, I just wanted, just really quick as we get started, thank you to the developers for reading the room. They've just done a great job of letting us know what's coming before it's here, and it's a very good way to build hype. So let's go ahead and get into this. I won't have you waiting any longer. Developer blog, large ships, and greetings captains. We are here with our first dive into new content coming with year 2 season 2, and we couldn't think of a better topic to start off with than the large ships. The first long-awaited large ship coming to Skull and Bones is the Frigate. The Frigate was an icon of the Golden Age of Sail, first developed by France, later adopted by other naval powers. It was defined by its continuous gun deck, fast, heavily armed, and built for long-range missions. It was the perfect balance of speed, firepower, and independence. Large ships have been one of the most requested features since launch. However, we wanted to take the time needed to introduce them at the right moment, ensuring they could truly shine and fit meaningfully into the game experience. Our vision for large ships is for them to play a complementary role, one where they don't replace other medium or small ships. With the introduction of Mythic Difficulty, World Tier 2, the new Mega Fort, the Faction War coming this season, and many challenges ahead in Season 2, the time finally feels right. These massive encounters demand massive vessels, and the Frigate is ready to meet the challenge. While working on the design, we wanted our Frigate to represent freedom, exploration, and power, a fitting flagship for the captains in our game. To sail a frigate is to command a moving fortress, carving your legend across the Indian Ocean. Visually, the frigate needed to feel huge, commanding, and elegant, a vessel worthy of awe and silhouette and silhouette and presence. By the way, I should be showing you the frigate on screen right now. It's actually been in the game the entire time the game's been out. The privateer ships use it as their flagship, as well as APOC, I believe it is. The one of our Arnalist captains has it as their ship as well. Frigate. The Frigate. Our first large ship set sails. Under the shadow of the DMC Company War, the Company Royale unleashes its state-of-the-line frigate, a massive vessel brimming with advanced firepower, aiming to strike back at the Dutch and regain their mega fort in the Red Isle. Rumors, however, swirl of a shadowy arms dealer dealing both sides of this faction war, which has allowed the vessel to be augmented with haste. There's a good chance that this is William Blackwood, who they're talking about, but there is a chance that we may have a new NPC being added into the game. We will know next week. As the faction war is truly unleashed across the Indian Ocean, captains will need all the firepower they can get. In response to the DMC's advance and takeover of their megafort in the Red Isle, the company developed the powerful frigate. Whether by hook or by crook, pirates have unlocked the secrets of this new ship. Keep an eye out for an opportunity from Blackwood to unlock and master the frigate. They're just talking about the Smuggler's Pass that we have. It'll be unlocked at level 45 like all of our ships are. More on that in a moment. Built to withstand the fiercest encounters, the Frigate is a ship that excels with its robust defenses and radiates a powerful aura that fortifies allies. embodying its tank role with unmatched resilience. With a higher number of gun ports compared to small and medium ships, the frigate can play a role of higher sustained fire when engaged in fights. Since the launch of Skull and Bones, we've been keeping an eye on the discussions you, our players, have had for the frigate and other large ships. The frigate will be available in both World Tier 1 and in Tier 2. Its size, bulk, and power do come at a cost, and learning how to position and play around these limitations will be key to mastering its role. So let's look at what makes the frigate shine and what you'll need to keep in mind before setting sail. Again, I love how they do this. They actually do a very good breakdown of everything the ship has, even the ship perks. First off, good eye for all of you who noticed that the pictures they were showing did have dual auxiliary weapons. That is exactly what is happening here, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. We wanted the frigate to stand out not just because its size and number of gun ports, but also through deeper build crafting options. With its dual auxiliary system, you'll need to consider how it fits into your overall build. Choosing the right weapon types for your playstyle and the battles you'll face will be key to mastering it. Equipping one auxiliary weapon on the frigate spawns 2 mirrored weapon stations, one on each side, but only one can be fired at a time. It follows the same logic as broadside weapons. While you'll see multiple barrels, they're all a part of a single weapon system. We believe this gives a stronger presence to the frigate and brings tactical benefits in siege or zone control scenarios without overpowering it. That is pretty sweet. So again, you can't shoot them both at one time. You'll be able to fire one, and as soon as you get done firing your one auxiliary, you'll be able to fire the second one, and of course you won't be able to fire another one until it is reloaded. But just wanted to kind of throw that ramble in there. Grit perk. The Grit perk is the backbone of the frigate's tank design. To reinforce the frigate's role as a durable flagship and frontline tank, we equip the frigate with a unique perk, Grit, which rewards you for staying in the thick of battle by increasing its own armor and reducing the incoming damage for nearby smaller ships as it absorbs damage. And let's see, the base perk. So this is the perk that comes with the ship regardless of what you've done to it. You gain a stack of grit when you are taking damage. Each stack of grit increases armor by 40 up to a maximum of 10 stacks. Each stack of grit lasts 15 seconds. Allied extra small, small, and medium ships within 200 meters take 10% reduced damage. When you do have 10 stacks of grit, it reduces 20% of damage instead. Now, they snuck in allied extra small, small, and medium ships. Now, we already know what our medium ships are, and we know what our small ships are. Those are ships like the sloop and the bedar. But extra small. Now, I know that we have our Dow, which is barely being used by anyone at this point, but I believe in Season 3, if I'm not mistaken, when we get the Corvette, we also get the ability to deploy a smaller ship out into the game. That kicks ass because I'm hoping that they're actually going to do something really, really good with the fishing. And, you know, that is something that I like doing. Leave me alone. But I'm hoping that they do flesh out that whole mechanic and make it something rewarding as well as fun to do. But it sounds like at that time we're also getting another small ship. So something in addition to our Dow. So I don't know if it's the Dow that we'll be able to, you know, put on the back of our ship, but if not, it is going to be this new allied extra small ship that they're talking about. I just wanted to throw that in there because it was a sneaky little thing to do, considering that nobody's using the Dow for anything, so why would it need additional armor? So yeah, I'm assuming that's going to be the newer smaller ship. So yeah, that might be a thing. Anyway, moving along, and let's see, frigate upgraded resolve. So once you get your frigate to ship upgrade level 6 of 7, you will unlock resolve. Now, Resolve, after 10 stacks of grit, taking damage will grant you Resolve. Resolve restores 10% of brace strength on activate and decreases the status effect damage by 20% and increases threat generation by 100% for 10 seconds. The upgraded perk doubles down on the frigate's tank roll by boosting damage reduction for nearby allies, with no penalty to you, letting you draw enemy fire and survive it, whether you're tanking hits or dishing them out. Grit turns you into a moving fortress, and nearby allies will feel the difference. So that kind of gives an explanation of how it works. Glad they did it, so I don't have to. Gun ports, with up to 34 gun ports in total, depending on the weapon you use. On the broadsides, for example, if you're using culverins, the frigate is able to equip 13 gun ports per side, giving it a strong offensive presence without tipping it into overpowered territory. So they're just saying smaller guns like culverins, demi cannons, torpedoes will just still be the whatever number of guns you can put on the deck up there, but those smaller guns will allow you to put more of them into play. Long guns usually are deck weapons, and we don't get like that many of them. Usually just 4 on our medium ships, for example, 3 to 4 up on top. So on our frigates, we may have 5 to 6 long guns on top, but if you are using smaller guns, you will be able to put 13 of them on per side. Not too shabby. Some of you have noticed that the number is slightly different from what was shown in the Year 2 showcase. That is because during development, we made the decision to shift the frigate's role from a DPS-focused ship to a frontline tank. While we do still have plans for a future DPS dedicated large ship, likely going to be the Corvette, let's see... we wanted the frigate as our first large ship to truly feel like a hulking flagship, one that could stand up to massive threats like the Megafort, while also supporting smaller allies in both PvE and PvP with its protective aura. This is likely also happening because we just got off of a DPS season with all of the explosive stuff that we got with the schooner. All of the weapons were focused around explosions. The furniture was all designed, for the most part, to boost those effects until they got nerfed, and we hope that that gets changed at the beginning of Season 2. But yeah, doing 2 double or 2 back-to-back DPS seasons likely was not what the developers were trying to do, so we are now in a tank season, which I am happy for, because I was mentioning to the Moonshine Armada, the Discord I belong to. Link should be down in the descriptions if you want to join us. But I have just been complaining that I love my Snow. It's one of my favorite ships in the game. It is my flagship. But I have had just a hard time bringing it into any activities because this is just not a tank season. It was just not a good Snow-focused season. I have a whole bunch of hope, a lot of fingers crossed for next season being a tank season, so not only we can get our wonderful frigate up to speed with its tank abilities, but also, man, being able to do something with my Snow and even the battle junk. I'm hoping that this is a tank or resistance or health focused season in some way, shape, or form. Some way to help us with sustainability. I know that doesn't really, move the needle for the community, but I just wanted to throw that in there. I'm hoping that's what that means. Next up, improved stabilities in open seas. I actually should have expected this one, but didn't. Pretty cool. One of the benefits of the frigate size is how stable it feels in rough waters, especially during long distance voyages or fights in the open seas. Smaller ships can get tossed around more, but thanks to its larger frame and design being less affected by waves, the frigate offers greater stability, especially in rough waters. That is awesome, and again, should have been something I expected, but very cool that it does that. Whilst the frigate is an imposing and powerful vessel, it is not free from weakness. Now, weak points. Keep in mind, these are specifically for PvP, as will be told about below. To make the most of the frigate's power, you'll need to play smart. As with great power comes more weak points. With the increased firepower offered by the frigate's gunport numbers, especially in death tides and PvP scenarios, where drawbacks like slower river speeds have minimal impact, we needed something to offset its strength. In PvP battles, the frigate takes 30% more damage when hit in its weak points. But as with all ships, it does not receive weak point damage from AI enemies. Okay, so PvE. Although these weak points are more numerous and take more damage than other ships, the frigate also has massively more hull health than other ships to make up for it. We wanted the frigate to feel powerful but not untouchable, rewarding captains who can position well and hold the line. So now, while I do say this is for PvP only and not in PvE, those of you that engage in PvP activities while in Tier 1 or Tier 2, so you know, takeovers or hostile takeovers or those encounters that will produce weak points, they will be available for people to shoot at you. So again, just keep in mind when you do bring this thing over to one of those fights, you likely will be a large target and be decimated quite easily, especially if you load into one of these in the rivers, in the canals, in the back areas of the backwater areas, because as you'll notice very soon, the large ship does not do well in those areas. So, acceleration. As one of the natural drawbacks of sailing a ship this size comes its slower maneuverability, especially when it comes to acceleration and turn acceleration. While the frigate's top turning speed is comparable to other ships, it takes longer to ramp up that speed. Timing and positioning now become key. River navigation, here it is. The frigate can sail into rivers, but its large frame and slower turning acceleration make it harder to maneuver through tight curves and narrow channels. You can bring it into rivers, but you'll feel the difference as the frigate isn't designed for narrow escapes. It's built to dominate the open seas. While in rivers and shallows, the frigate's sailing speed is reduced by 30%. All right, in deep waters, where it has room to maneuver, the frigate can truly shine to its full potential. So, just as I mentioned, if you foolishly bring this thing into a hostile takeover in the shallows or in any of those river areas, 30% reduction in your sailing speed. So you're going to be, it already sounds like acceleration and deceleration are going to be a problem, even more so if you're in those areas. Weapon firing dead angles. This is also something I did not expect. The frigate's sheer size brings serious firepower, but not without trade-offs to keep it balanced. One of them is a dead angle in the rear quadrants, which weapons can't cover. This means enemies approaching from behind may also find an opening if you're not positioned well, which also encourages captains to master their positioning tactics. Dead zone and rear quadrants is set for Year 2, Season 2, but we will be keeping a close eye on how this experience plays out for you, the community. As always, your feedback will be key in shaping what's next. So that one is very important. Definitely keep an eye out on this one as you are playing the game. The thing about it is as mentioned, dead zone. So on the rear of the ship, when you're firing from your stern, as you do currently, if you rotate from stern to either of your broadsides, you're able to just, continually fire in a, 360 degree radius or whatever, however you want to say it. But with this ship, there will be a section that your weapons just can't reach, and it's going to be to the left or right of the stern as you, again, rotate to your broadsides. There's just going to be a wedge, probably a 45 or so degree angle, that you won't be able to cover. So, again, with the ship being hard to maneuver, as you can imagine, if somebody catches you in that angle, it's going to take a while for you to turn to try to, get them to a spot where you can shoot them from your rear or broadsides, depending on, how they're sailing up. But anyone who's paying attention to this or taking advantage of it, for example, in a small or medium-sized ship, they may be able to stay in that dead zone and do some very, very substantial damage to you. This will also be a problem for, NPC ships. The developers are sneaky. This season is when they added in the ability for our NPC ships to focus fire on support ships. Those of you who are support mains, go ahead and raise your hands down in the comments and then explain how you've probably not even fired any weapons or done any weapon damage on the enemy. You've only done healing and still have been the target of many attacks. Yeah, that's because the game is focusing up on you. You are a threat, almost as much as a threat as someone who's pulling aggro for taunt. So yeah, that is something that gets programmed into the game. I say that because there's a chance they may have programmed the NPC ships to take advantage of that dead zone. So just throwing that out there for you. Let's move on. Crafting the frigate. Large ships require more resources to craft and upgrade. Oh God, here it is. I saw this earlier. You'll need to find that when it comes to, you'll also find that when it comes to repairing your frigate, you may also use currencies other than silver. To cement the role of the frigate as a tank with a superior hull, you'll also need to acquire deep iron to upgrade your frigate to level 4. And deep iron plates to upgrade your frigate to level 7. Sorry, my Roman numerals just took a brain fart real quick. Deep iron can be acquired from Blackwood and guild marks and megaforts. Not sure what guild marks are just yet. And you'll need to refine deep iron to acquire deep iron plates. And once the Faction Wars launches, you'll also be able to obtain it from the Pirate Ledger. Throughout Season 2, you'll be able to acquire the frigate blueprint through the seasonal pass, as I mentioned. Just the same as with previous ships. New ship blueprints, you'll need to spend 45 smugglers marks on the season pass. That just means you need to get to level 45. Once you acquire the frigate blueprint, you will automatically unlock and start the frigate infamy quest. This quest is certainly one you'll want to pay attention to, as it will reward you with some of the materials needed to craft the frigate. This is pretty smart, and I'm hoping that's the main way that we can craft it. It's bad enough that the upgrades are going to need a new material, but giving us what we need to at least get going is pretty cool. So again, everyone, if you happen to just burn through those levels day one, you want to keep an eye out for this mission. If you find that the mission is not working for you, all of these videos I always leave a link for the bug report. So just come back to any of these videos, click on the descriptions, and throw a bug link, because we certainly want to make sure that that mission is working on day one. Large ships and the future. Coming as a part of the balance changes with the launch of Year 2 Season 2, a debuff applying only to death tides will affect the frigate's damage and healing outputs. During the development of large ships, we paid close attention to conversations happening across the community. Our goal has always been to build Skull and Bones with you and for you. Some of the features coming with the frigate in Year 2 Season 2, like its abilities to support allies as a true flagship, echoes ideas shared by players in the past. We're excited to see those ideas reflected in features like the grit perk, which sits at the heart of the frigate's design. Another idea mentioned by the community was that large ships shouldn't be able to navigate most rivers. You guys are mean. I didn't know that that was a suggestion. While you can bring the frigate into rivers, it comes with clear drawbacks, as we mentioned earlier, reflecting the natural limitations of larger ships. We've listened to your feedback about its implementation, especially when it comes to maneuverability and impact on the current game dynamics, and these were taken into consideration during development. Following the launch of the frigate, we'll continue to closely monitor its performance and make additional adjustments if needed. Please share your thoughts and feedback on the frigate. Doing so helps us understand your experience and help shape improvements and changes. The frigate is just the start of more large ships coming to Skull and Bones. While the frigate fills a role of tank, future large ships may lean into different roles. And trust us, you'll want one ready for what's hiding deep in the Indian Ocean. When what's hiding in the deep. Jesus, my reading just took a shit at the end here. You'll want one ready when what's hiding deep in the Indian Ocean finally surfaces. Kraken. They don't say that on here, but that's clearly what they're talking about, because in case you have not been aware of it, yeah, this year we're getting the Kraken. Should be season 4, but that has been all but confirmed by the devs at this point. And that is it, everyone. So yeah, pretty sweet ass read. I was curious about what videos I should make to keep you guys entertained this weekend, and man, I've been holding out that the developers were going to keep giving us information. That's why I haven't put up anything new, and damn it if they did not did not disappoint. They came with it. Again, I even called in to work. This is not what I planned on doing today, but I did want to make sure I got this information to you, the community, because yeah, it's about to go down. This next season, things are actually going to have some new refreshing things to do in the season, and this ship is going to be one of them. Now, when it comes to creating your ship, we have been told there is going to be a new material, and that is unfortunate. It will need to be refined. We haven't got all the details about it. They didn't say anything about us being able to even make it in the refineries. So it may be a way that they're trying to, I don't want to say time gate us from getting into the frigate, but definitely I don't think they want everyone in a frigate right away the moment that you get to level 45. Like, that's kind of how it's been for all of our medium ships for the most part. You did have to, make some of the more exotic materials, and they weren't always, able to be made in the refinery. So some things took a little while, but I have seen captains with the brand new ships within the first couple of days of the ship being released. So I don't know if they're trying to combat that. Again, we will have to see exactly how we're getting these upgrade materials. Getting to level 45 in the Smuggler's Pass is super easy, barely an inconvenience, especially if you know that just keep doing stuff. Like, you don't have to always do what's in the challenges. Those things get you the most points, but just playing the game, just going through and doing your regular grind also, get you towards your Smuggler's Pass. So just make sure you're playing the game and knocking out challenges, and you'll be fine. But once you get your ship, that's when things may throttle down a little bit. There'll be some complaints, probably already going to be some from the community as we go into it. But again, we need to see it out there in action to see exactly how bad or how good it is, because it may be negligible, the entire grind of getting us into the ships. But feedback, right? People are going to be talking about how they don't like that this is not a DPS focused ship. I get it. We've had DPS focused seasons for quite a while now, and I believe that this is the first attempt to just kind of not have one. We very well may even have a support season in one of the next 2 seasons that are coming up, but having this be like what I'm hoping is a tank based season, something that'll help bring the tanks up and give us us tank supporters, tank enjoyers, a better role other than just sitting out there and absorbing damage. Yes, you can turn any ship into any type of thing you want, so I can make a pseudo DPS tank, DPS ship out of my tank, but I'll always regret that I'm not in a ship that's more focused for DPS, you know what I mean? Ideally, with the frigate being something that they want to be powerful and imposing, I'm hoping that we get some sort of furniture that does that gives us resilience, but also builds up some sort of DPS bonus that will allow the ships to do something very explosive and powerful, after building up, so much, taking so much damage. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed for us tank mains out there. But man, so happy that this season is coming. So happy that the devs again have been providing us with information about what's to come, and I am so very happy for all of you. We just hit 400 subs, and we are already a quarter of the way into 500. You guys are absolutely awesome. 500 is a very good milestone for the channel. So yeah, thank you for the ride. Thank you for hanging out with us. And yeah, hopefully I will, keep you guys all entertained with what is to come. But I'm done waffling. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up. It's long enough. I have been Captain Cash at Stampede, folks, and we'll see you out there in the seas. Take it easy.